Your wedding is something that I feel like couples, you can really, really customize it and make it all about you and your day. And that's what I love to showcase.
Hi, I'm John from PGP Wedding Films, and welcome to Say Yes to the Best, where we talk to the best wedding pros, give you wedding planning advice. Subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. We have new content all the time for you to help you navigate everything wedding. And today I'm with Heather from Pennsylvania Weddings. How are you, Heather?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Can you tell the audience a little bit about Pennsylvania Weddings?
Absolutely. So Pennsylvania Weddings, we actually are coming up on our 1-year anniversary next month, which is really exciting. We are actually the only statewide wedding guide for all of Pennsylvania. We cover from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, Lehigh Valley, and Central PA. And we're really excited because we are growing fast and quickly. We have a lot of vendors involved, and we are here to be the ultimate resource for couples across the entire state.
And what made you decide to start the blog?
I started the blog actually in 2018 as I do Bucks County. It was supposed to be something really small, and then I realized that there was so much more, and Pennsylvania doesn't have a wedding blog. Of course, we have ones in different areas in the major cities, but it's only really 2. So there was nothing that covered the entire state. So I kind of took a leap of faith and decided to just go for it. And that was last May. And I did bring on a content manager, Amy, and she does all of our social media and our blogging. So the two of us together are really able to grow it to what it is today.
One thing that, I've kind of learned being on the vendor side of things and participating in obviously a lot of real weddings, but also some styled wedding shoots, is being submitted and accepted to publications both online and in print is something that a lot of vendors and a lot of couples are really interested in doing to kind of share all of their work. So could you tell our audience a little bit about what the submission process is like for you and kind of what you're looking for?
Absolutely. So our submission process is pretty standard based on, I guess, all the other blogs out there. We do accept submissions via Two Bright Lights, IO Society, as well as our own website. As far as submissions go, obviously, we only accept weddings in Pennsylvania. We will not accept them from neighboring states. That's kind of like our thing where we only want Pennsylvania weddings. But we also take engagement sessions, styled shoots, and we just started taking bridal showers. The main thing that we're looking for is weddings and wedding-related events that kind of are, I guess I want to say, a little bit above like your average wedding. Weddings that have like a lot of unique details, fun decor and florals, something that when couples kind of look at it, they're like, ooh, this is really cool. Almost kind of like the same vibe that you would get from like Pinterest. We were getting those fun ideas, for couples that kind of went a little bit above and beyond it. It's something really fun and unique that people enjoy looking at.
So say you're a bride or a vendor and you have this awesome shoot and you think like, it's gorgeous. What should be like the steps that you take to get it published on Pennsylvania Weddings?
Sure. So the things that you want to make sure before submitting the shoot or, whatever you have that you want to submit, you want to make sure that there's enough details and enough photos that are almost going to kind of make a story. That's how we like to describe it to people. We're telling a story. So we want to start with the bride and groom getting ready. We want pictures of the actual venue where they got married at. We want to see pictures of their stationery and the bride's bouquet and the groom's boutonniere. And then kind of like go through the ceremony and then into the reception and then the cake and then, I don't want to say like after party, but kind of like after the reception, maybe like the walkout where the bride and groom come out. Those are kind of what we're looking for, so we can kind of go through the day almost like as a timeline. So you want to make sure you have those pictures in place before you submit, because if we don't have those, it's not just going to keep up with the flow of our blog and what our readers look for.
That's really, really good to know, because I know I've been involved in some style shoots where it was just kind of, I was asked to come in and they have like a bride in a dress and there's no groom or partner involved. And I know for me, just trying to create something interesting. It's like there's no story. It's just a, pretty person in a beautiful dress with cool stuff, but it's like it just shot. So yeah, I love the idea of making sure that there's like a story element involved, because I think that's what couples are really looking for. So obviously, right now at this time of recording, the COVID-19 pandemic is really an all-encompassing aspect of all of our lives. Is there anything on the blog that you're doing to kind of provide content, information, or even just kind of an escape from everything?
Yes, we've actually done quite a few COVID articles. We've had Andrea Kraut. She did an interview with us. She's actually a wedding photographer who is also in the process of planning a wedding. So we interviewed her on what it's like being a bride and also being a vendor. We also did a few other stories as well as virtual bridal shower stories too, because there's a lot of bridal showers that are unfortunately being canceled. But if you can do it virtually, which is allowed, it's a little different than trying to get married virtually. So bridal showers can still be done, and it's been a success for the two brides that we spoke to and blogged about. But above all of that, we're really just trying to continue on with showcasing weddings and inspiration. People are still planning weddings right now. There's a lot of 2021 brides that are planning right now whose weddings are probably going to be impacted as far as finding vendors who are available. So we want to make sure that we're still reaching out to those couples, but also taking care of the ones that are being affected too.
Has the pandemic affected anything with the blog otherwise?
Not yet. I'm curious though to see what's going to happen next year because weddings have pretty much stopped right now. So, we usually work kind of a year like where we are now. Everything that we're featuring took place in 2019. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen when we're at this stage next year, how things are going to be when we look back and we're showcasing weddings and style shoots, because everything is paused right now. So at this point, it's kind of like a waiting game, I feel like everything else, and seeing how the wedding industry actually has been affected.
Yeah, I was really happy. I got one wedding in under the wire before everything happened.
Oh, that's awesome.
Beyond that, and just kind of more your everyday, what is the biggest mistake you see couples make when they're doing their wedding planning?
I think the biggest mistake I see is trying to go for as inexpensive as possible, but doing it for the wrong reasons and not doing it, I guess I want to say not doing it like in a smart way. Weddings are expensive. They are ridiculously expensive. But the one thing that I've seen is couples just choosing vendors. Oh, this vendor's only like $100. This vendor, whatever just throwing out numbers here. Oh, but this person's only this much. Let's book them. But they're looking at it from a price tag point of view, instead of looking at it from like who the vendor actually is. Because there's a lot of vendors who might be more expensive, but they're actually offering you a lot more and they're a lot further educated and they're going to be able to provide a better service to you based on that price tag. So I think that's my number one thing. Even before I started the blog, is make sure you do your research first before looking at the price tag, because there's a lot of things that couples don't understand or don't seem to be educated on from the get-go. And that's what we're trying to, help people with now, is like educate them on how to pick vendors. And again, not necessarily looking at a price tag, but what's behind the price tag, the reasons why.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, obviously everybody wants to save money, but if somebody's significant, cheaper than, a higher end option, there's probably a reason why, and you're making a sacrifice by getting that, lesser price. So it's something you definitely want to consider and be looking at more of the long game.
Exactly. Yep. So that's, our one thing, if we have any advice, is look beyond the price tag.
If you could give every couple just one piece of advice, what would it be?
My piece of advice is to, before the wedding day, try to do something together that is fun for the both of you. Wedding days are really stressful and they do go super fast. But I feel like if you can kind of do something before the wedding, maybe if it's like a week before, the day before, just spend the day together and enjoy each other. I almost think it's like the wedding day is like this crazy roller coaster ride. After the wedding's over, it kind of calms down. But, before the wedding, it's crazy as well. But if you can just take, some time together, even if you go on like a pre-honeymoon type of thing, get away and spend some time with each other. So you're prepared and ready to enjoy that crazy, exciting day together.
What do you love most about what you do?
What I love most is that I love to share love. It makes me really happy to see all of these couples enjoying these special moments. A lot of times in life, there's only a few big special moments. You buy a house, you buy your first car, you have babies, and your wedding is something that I feel like couples, you can really, really customize it and make it all about you and your day. And that's what I love to showcase. I love to showcase those really special details, the details that couples put into their wedding invitations, or the special flowers that couples pick for their bouquet, whether it's, a state flower where the bride is from and she uses that as part of the bouquet. There's so many things that you can do to really make it your own as a couple, where you don't really have all of those other options for some of those other crazy life events that happen.
What was the kind of coolest thing that you've ever featured on the blog? Like the number one story or feature that pops in your head when you think about your blog?
One of my favorite weddings that we featured on the blog was last year. It was a wedding at Durham Farm, and I really love this one. Every time I look at the blog, I go back to it. I remember all the pretty details instantly. It was more of a sustainable, eco-friendly wedding, but they had such adorable details. They used like recycled bottles for their flowers on the table. All the bridesmaids wore like these different color floral dresses. The desserts were really tiny and cute and like finger food desserts almost. And it just came together so perfectly. And I love when couples do things like that and try to be eco-friendly and reuse a lot of things, like the bottles that they use for vases. They're not using these crazy expensive vases. They're using recyclables, but they came out, the way that they looked were so beautiful that it makes the whole thing like, wow, this is really cool. And these are things that I feel like couples can find inspiration for, because you can really make beautiful centerpieces with recycled wine bottles or cute tins if your vendors can work with them in a way that makes it look really nice and charming.
Are there any types of weddings that you're trying to feature more of right now?
So things that we want to feature more of on the blog, we definitely are trying to branch out to other areas of Pennsylvania too. We get a lot of, obviously, Philadelphia area, Bucks County area vendors and weddings, probably because that's where I live. But we're definitely trying to branch out more, especially like in the Poconos area, Lehigh Valley, but also around Erie. And some in Pittsburgh too. So we're kind of like trying to branch out and really showcase weddings from those areas as well, because people are getting married all over the state. There's plenty of counties throughout Pennsylvania. So we are definitely trying to continue to further branch out and feature weddings, couples, and vendors from those areas.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Heather, for being a part of the show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. This has been really fun.
Again, this is Heather from Pennsylvania Weddings. All their information will be below, how to find them on social media, go to their website, see all their awesome content. So thank you again. And thank you for watching Say Yes to the Best. Again, subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Instagram. We're always putting out more content to help you with all your wedding planning. So hope you enjoyed and happy planning.